Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. Mojo's here. Dukasoft is probably lurking in the shadows, as he does sometimes. Hopefully it actually updated the title. It did. Breathing. Close, 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 close. What else do I have open that I want to close? How are you doing on this fantastic Wednesday? It is a great day to be a developer. I haven't said that for a while. But it really is. Absolutely for really reals is. Okay. I think I have everything closed. Let me just make sure that it's using the right display screen. It is. And magic. We are here. So, when last we talked, we were working on our stream project, the financial management tracker, and we're doing two things. We were trying to integrate a calculator that one of our community members wrote. They were learning JavaScript and just doing some simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to put a calculator together. So we were playing around with that a little bit. I will be using it, turning it into C# instead of JavaScript because C#. But we're not going to do that at the moment. What we are going to do is finish off the other thing we were working on, which is getting the edit functionality to fully work. Is that what we were doing last? I'm pretty sure that's what we were doing last. We got the edit functionality to work, but there was a thing. What was the thing? The thing was that it wasn't updating all of the list items, all of the displayed list items. No, it updated the displayed list items, but it wasn't updating the account transactions history. And so I was asking the question for our transaction history, which I am pulling up so that we can see it. Localhost, I don't know which localhost we're on. 7176 looks like. Okay, so for each of these items in this list here, we can either tell the ones that have lookups, so account would be one of them, because again, I was thinking of moving the ability to rename accounts and stuff into here. So the account name, the payee / deposit reason, and those are the only two. We can either requery the list, or we can just use the ID that we get back and have the output be a lookup in the lookup cache. So for example, this regular paycheck here, when I rename it to regular paychecks, it does not update here, but it definitely updates here in the drop-down list. Did I make sure that the cancel works? Discard changes. It does. Good. Okay. So it's either going to be requery, this one right here. So in the transaction history list, because when we get the list of transactions, this value gets populated by the query. It's not give me the ID and then I'll get the lookup value from our cached lookup list. And I think the reason that that was dangerous is because I filter out items marked as deleted. I can't remember for sure. Those are tests. Transaction entry service. Is this where we get the transaction history? It is. Are we filtering? No, it's the lookup items that I'm looking for. When we get our list of lookup items, am I filtering out where not deleted? It looks like I am not. Good. So that means that I will get back all of the items, including those that are marked as deleted, but the UI will not show those that are deleted, which means that when we cache our lookup items, then I will be able to pull this value even if the lookup item itself was deleted. Oh yeah, and then that's the other thing that we need to do, the delete. No worries. Yeah, so this thing here updates. Oh, okay. Take your time. Yoru. Onomimasu. Yomu. Say it with a Spanish accent. Yoru. Okay. So we are getting our lookup items, plural, and we are not filtering out which deleted. So let's go back to our UI for the transaction history grid. Transaction history grid. Transaction history components. Base transaction row. AE value. Yeah, so here is where we are saying if it's a payment, then the payee value is going to be the name. If it's a transfer, it's going to be the account name. If it's a deposit, it's going to be the deposit reason. Display text. However, this is where we need to use the value instead. Payee value text. And so what we're going to do then is from our lookup histories. So we need the lookup state. Inject, allow null. So I'm putting allow null in all of these so I don't have to use the equals default bang at the end, the null forgiveness operator. This is just a cleaner way, in my opinion, to represent. This is lookup list state. Is that what I called it? It is. So it looks cleaner to me than having equals default bang. Because we know that this will never be null when we're doing an inject. The only thing that might happen is we'll get an exception if I had not prepared an iLookup list state in the dependency injection container. Did it did. Okay, so what I'm gonna do then is lookup item cache. I think get lookup items because this should be a pretty fast thing. All it does is gives me the lookup items of type whatever I'm looking for back so that it casts it to the right type instead of saying lookup item cache dot of type. So I don't know. It's kind of exactly the same amount of work with just a method name that you can recognize as we are getting the list of lookup items. So this is of type lookup item view model of payees, or do I have a payee lookup view model? Right? And then this is going to be first or default, where the value text is equal to that dot payee name. Okay, so we're gonna do, yeah, we'll just do all of them. I don't know why I was gonna do just one and then test it out, but really, you can do all of them. So we want target account name from transfer, which is going to be an account lookup view model. I hope. I will go ahead and duplicate this, put value text dot target account name. Dot account name, not target account name, because at this point we have an account lookup view model. Okay. And then finally, the deposit raisins. Hello, Napalm. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope your day is going well, starting off fantastically, funtastically, or ending off fantastically. I really don't know what time it is for you. I don't remember what region of the world you're in. Kicking tires on. I love how it corrected that to orbs, or you mistyped it. I think orbs sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. iPad autocorrect. Yeah, I love that. Kicking the tires on orbs. It's almost like you live in a magical world. It'd be nice if more people did. Lookup item view model of type deposit reason. Lookup deposit reasons. I'm pretty sure that that's where our lookup deposit reasons are. And then this will be, can I just use display text? I can. I can use display text. Okay, so this should have done it. Provided it actually, we need a notification to tell the transaction history grid to re-render. And that event could be transaction history changed. But this isn't really a transaction history change. This is definitely a lookup item list change. So we will inject I lookup list state. And I'm going to use the generic, if I have them on here. I don't, I have so many projects that I don't remember which ones are using the property changed and property changes. What is it called? I notify property change and I notify property changes. And which ones that I am explicitly creating events per thing that can happen. So we're going to find out. We have property changed. Awesome. And so what I do with property change that's different from having these specific events is I have usually just one property changed event handler or callback or whatever these are called. Then I say, based on the type of, based on the property that's being changed, Dukasoft is here. Hello, Dukasoft. Based on the property that is being changed, that's when I will do whatever it is that I need to do. In most cases, it's just a state has changed. And so I will just do a state has changed. So like in this case, it's e.property name is name of lookup list state dot Yeah, I guess initialized is a good one. Initialized. So if that property is the one that's changing, or that property name is name of e dot not e dot lookup list date. And I like using the interface for this because maybe the concrete class, or yeah, it doesn't matter. We could use the variable name or the interface, but I prefer to use the interface. So I lookup list state. I state your name dot cache. No, that's a service. I thought that I tabbed on state. Cache, lookup item cache. Then we will, and I still prefer, even though this is a void, because we are doing an event. Yeah, we're doing an event. I don't know what else to call it. I still prefer to have await invoke async state has changed. And the reason for that is because we don't know that this event is going to fire on the UI thread. And state has changed. If you try to do that on a non-UI thread, it causes issues. So that was one reason that I was doing explicit one event per thing, because I could tell the event itself that I wanted it to be a function of task. Not you. You. So this one is a function of task. And therefore, I could make the method an async task instead of async void, which we all know async void is not desirable. Okay, so now the only other thing that I need to do is on successful add or update of a lookup item using our maintenance, which I guess is this. On success, which would be here. Actually, no, it would be in lookup list state, update item. We could do it here. And we can say raise property changed, name of lookup item cache. That's exactly it. So this will fire the event, and anyone listening to the event will run their methods. I already had it on refresh list async and on add. So yeah. And then we may as well also have it here, which we'll need to implement. But this is our delete. So fantastic. Okay. The only other thing that I think I am missing is unsubscribing from property changed on dispose. Remember to return to your movies when you are done watching them. And also be kind, rewind, and stuff. Speaking of retro things like Blockbuster, I am watching BitGamey's stream too. If any of you have the capacity to multi-stream, definitely watch his stream. He is such fun. Such an enjoyment joy. He got his he's currently working on a game called Tripe. Dukasoft showed up. He's currently working on a game called Tripe, which is a nod to R-Type. And he's working on one level of it, but right now he was working on getting the opening. I guess it would be this. I don't know. I can't see my screen. Yeah. So comes in from this side of the screen, goes across, and then expands. It's really cool. For the title is what I'm trying to say. It's a really cool animation. Yeah. Actually, it was Dukasoft. Okay, sorry, I was typing back to him. He acknowledged that we gave him a shout out. I see you. Aw, he's gonna rate us. That's nice. You were just live for the first time? When? When? I am following you now. He's best mod. Not just any mod. Mod love. Anyway, you guys are only hearing half of the messages because I'm responding to Big Gamey while he's streaming. But yeah, okay, so this should work. We should be able to now see when we update. Did it rebuild? Do you need to rebuild? It rebuilt. When we update regular paycheck, then we're going to see this update as well. It didn't. Why? Probably because it didn't actually rebuild and refresh the page. Let's see, savings. Yeah, it definitely showed up in our. Well, I guess I can't say that for sure because our side drawer was. It had different content in it. So now it should still be there with that content. It's just hidden. A basic setup working still probably needs some work, but it's enough to get started, I think. Awesome. Well, I am going to be looking forward for your streams. I think you're talking about streams being live. That is my assumption. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Okay, so this didn't update, but the second time I did a change, it did update and it's lagged one behind. That's usually an indication that a re-render is happening at the wrong time. But yeah, streaming, awesome. Well, definitely going to look forward to that if we're able to. Napalm 684. Hey, it already cooled down. Oh wait. Now that I see this, I think did oh no. I was gonna say did Digisoft already do that? But yeah, so if you guys are interested in seeing what Napalm is gonna stream, there's a link thingy up there somewhere with my cutoff finger. But yeah, okay, so this thing is lagging one behind the change. So what happens when I submit this? The thing that happens is lookup edit razor. I gotta learn how to do custom visuals and such, capturing my PC audio. I was surprised how much delay there is. There's delay in your PC audio or just in the stream in general? I could show you my setup here shortly, but I want to trace this really quick. To handle confirm save changes, the first thing that happens is, okay, so the stream in general. Yeah, there are a few things that you can do about that, like baud rate and making sure that you're streaming at the highest possible quality. Or not quality, but oh, I can't remember what the setting is called, but we'll look at it. So as long as we have a change, then we call lookup list state.update lookup item, which will immediately do the request to the service. If there were no errors, then we will be down here. We'll find the item. We will update the item in the lookup list. And then if it, wait, no, that's a lie. I'm not updating the item. I'm not updating the item in the lookup list. How is that possible that it's updating the drop-down values? So we find the item. If the item didn't exist, then we try to get it from the server. And then if we still didn't get it, then we return an error. Otherwise, we add the found item from the server to our cache. If we are here, I guess this would be in an else. Else, we have an existing lookup item. And so I want to update the display text for that lookup item to be our updated items display text. So that could be what's going on. I'm not actually doing that until we return back to this method, and then we update the items display text here. Yeah, that's got to be what's happening. So with that, that should have fixed our laggy lag. Did I sort this on accident somehow? That was weird. Okay, so we have here regular paycheck, and we update it to regular paychecks, and it updated immediately. Yes. All right. Success. That. This one says regular paycheck. We modify, look, and it says regular paychecks. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So with that done, we are done with edit lookup items. Aside from payees needing a few more things like being able to edit the categories that a payee is with and then re-adding accounts as a lookup list that we can modify. So the reason that I didn't have it in here is because the way to add a new account is by clicking on the plus sign next to account, filling in the information. But really that should be in list management. But I also want to be able to add payees and accounts and line item types and anything that has a drop down. I almost knocked my water over. Anything that has a drop down in line to make it easier. And of course, it's going to look better. It's not going to be this crosshair wafer looking thing. Excuse me. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. So, real quick, napalm. The way that I have my audio set up is a little bit different than what it seems like other people's are, but then again, it works for me. So I have a few devices. I don't really remember where this came from, but I'm pretty sure that I got it from OBS. It gave me this stream speakers. No, Steam. I got it from Steam apparently, but there is the Steam streaming speakers. And what I do is I have whatever audio I want to come through on the stream be on channel 1 and come through stream speakers. So for example, until next week, because it's going to die next week, I have soundtrack coming through stream speakers. Right? Yeah. I have soundtrack coming through stream speakers. So if I had OBS closed, I would not be able to hear soundtrack playing through regular audio. Then I use an audio device for my second, whatever this is called, second channel. Not really channel. My second audio device, because they give you 2 audio devices. So my second audio device, I have things like my sound alerts and general alerts and shout out clips maybe coming through. And again, if I didn't have OBS open, I wouldn't hear them. Or if I have monitor turned off, then I wouldn't hear them. So that's how I am keeping it from capturing my regular desktop audio, because I don't want it to capture all of my desktop audio to come through, just because I don't want to. Only the ones that I have going through those 2 specific audio devices. And the way that I configured that is just in sound settings. Nope, not mouse settings. Close enough. Sound settings, mixer, mixer. And then you can tell each thing where you want it to output to. So you can see here I have soundtrack outputting to stream speakers. And what was the other thing that I said? Oh, Discord. I have Discord. Oh, that's configured in Discord, so never mind. I don't know why there are two. But that switches back and forth. Firefox is another one that I have going through the Realtek digital output. That way, if I do want to play something in the browser that I want to come through on stream, then I just use Firefox. But I don't really remember how General Alerts is set up as far as audio is concerned. But here is how I have everything coming through on the stream, and then the music doesn't output to the VOD. And by their instructions, the VOD is supposed to be in channel 1 and the stream is channel 2, but that's definitely not the case, at least for me. So anyway, so you can see that. And then the thing that happens to a lot of people, and it was happening to me a lot as well, was because my monitoring device was one of the devices that I was using. Thank you, Liquid. And also Dugasoft. The device that I was using, or that I wanted to come through on the stream, come through OBS, was the one that I was also listening through, a monitoring device, then I wouldn't hear anything at all. So if you're using the same device for one of your audio output devices, audio to the stream, you can't use that device as your monitoring device. And then I use Crisp for my microphone so that I cut out any room noise, any extra noise, and it's nice. I like Crisp. So hopefully that is kind of informative. And then for all of my browser sources, they get their own item. I don't know what to call these in the mixer, and I control the volumes individually, but I typically try to have my audio for all of them max out at just under the red line. And that makes it easy. So when I'm bringing people in on community days, which we will have on Friday, by the way, I try to make sure that the Discord volume is at the same level as my voice. And then this is how high my whatever this thing is called. What is it called? Soundtrack, which is going to be Spotify, which is going to be annoying because I use Spotify on occasion. And if I'm going to tell Spotify to output through my streaming speakers, I'm going to have OBS open when I want to listen to Spotify, or just remember to change the audio output device to my normal headphones or whatever default is. I wish you could have it output to multiple devices, and you probably can. Someone suggested that I use V something audio, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the app. It just made things infinitely more complex for me. But yeah, that's that. There's that. And obviously my microphone. Yeah. Anyway, so Napalm said, I will eventually get there. Hell, if I am streaming it myself, it will be a short experiment. Aw. I want to see your streamings. I love watching developer streamers. Love, 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 love. If you couldn't tell, as I'm watching Finite and BitGamey. Good times. Okay, so we got the edit done, as I mentioned. And as you know, when we finish small parts and pieces, we all of us, every single one of us that's here, likes to do small commits. So I'm going to do this on just the items related to the lookup. What's in here? And then we may as well do the calculators next, the calculator stuff next, and then delete last. But delete should be the last functionality piece. What are you? Yeah, we added the components. Why? Why is this getting added to do nothing? We can get rid of that. And I also don't know why list management add account form is in do nothing. That doesn't make sense. But that's fine. Okay, so lookup list state, compiler config was for the calculator, base transaction row, stage completed. Refresh. Oh man, thank you so much for the follow, Mila Mori Games. That handle sounds like a streamer too. Do you stream? And you are under no obligation to respond if you're just wanting to lurk, but just felt like following. You are a streamer. Awesome. I am following. As I mentioned before, I love watching game streamers. I love watching .NET streamers. So, and you are learning Unity. Very cool. How long have you been working on it? And I am going to do a proper shout out to see if you have any clips that we might be able to see. No, if I know how to do this. Yay. It looks like you also game?
¿Cómo se llaman?
Stream gaming?
Son 3.90.
Reported. Absolutely. So I have been learning Unity Essentials Pathway for 1 week, and they have a lot of materials and tutorials. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes. I tried. So you would think that someone that is familiar with .NET development could pick up Unity relatively quickly, especially being comfortable with the C# language. So I've tried learning Unity, and I mean like honest efforts, putting in hours of weeks of hours. I don't know if that made sense. Anyway, nonstop learning Unity, and I still haven't been able to pick it up. I still have not been able to pick it up very well. But I'm going to. I'm not going to give up. It's just, I need to be able to do it a lot more consistently for a lot longer. Completed refresh after updating lookup items. So we are, I'm going to go ahead and commit and push so that this is on GitHub. Her screen shows hello world in C#. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be publishing games. The main reason that I want to learn Unity is so that I can do AR development well, right now specifically for the HoloLens. I want to make productivity apps or just overall cool and helpful applications that help automate our plain old non-fancy life, although I really think that mine is extremely fun. Really enjoying it. Anyway, so yeah, it's mostly for augmented reality development, which it has a lot of the same skills as game development. So Cool. What are we doing? We are going to finish up this calculator real quick. So calculator, again, this calculator here is one that was provided by Max, because Max was learning JavaScript and he threw together this calculator. Not AI, AR. Although it's going to have AI features to it. Okay, so how did I break that? I removed it from our CS proj because it's just a... Oh, because there's nothing in it. That's why. Why aren't you fixing the colors? Why are you being weird? Don't be weird. Components, calculator components. Yeah, now it's just being weird. Can you stop so that I can build? Thanks. Handle remove. Okay, so that would be why it's not building. Handle remove does not exist. Now it does. And then we'll just return task.completed task. What do you say now? Will you build? Templated modal. At using finance, no, what is this called? Arm, no. What did I call my library? Actually, it should already be there in imports. Modal components. Is it not templated modal? It is templated modal. What are you unhappy about? Well succeeded. Okay, cool. All right, so this is what it currently looks like, the way that we have it styled. And I'm kind of liking some of the logic that Max had in here, where as you click on a button, that's when it's starting to just put the thing down here. It's just that the way that it parses is a bit odd. So that's going to be removed. Yeah. Okay. I don't like the concept of calc plus versus calc minus. Instead, it is just going to parse the actual string that we get and then do math on it. Yeah. Okay. Do I want to do this? I'm starting to have second thoughts. It's like, I really want to have a calculator in the app, but I don't want to spend the time to create the calculator. Let's see. So pushing a button. Oh yeah, that was the other thing that was weird. Right now, the label on the buttons doesn't let me click on the button. So that's really weird. Why would that be? That's a very interesting feature. Is it because I made the button too small? And what this is the border? Thank you so much for the follow, Chapelin. Welcome in. Ooh. Oh, okay. It's the header. There is actually still a header on this templated modal, even though I didn't populate it. I see. And so if what? Where is that coming from? Because I don't see the header. The dismiss wrapper, which is spanning the entire top. Let's see. Oh my gosh. And there it is, the BitGamey raid. Hello, BitGamey and friends and family with 2 whole viewers. Awesome. I hope you are all having a fantastic day thus far. Man, I think Twitch might be a little confused with their viewer count.
We have Madrina. 1, 2, and then
Oh no. So yeah, I have I have my shoutout clips limited to 30 seconds because I don't want to, since I post these videos to YouTube as well, I don't want copyright strikes against any music that might be used in the clips. Not all of my clips are the baby. Are you sure about that? Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it was a fun, fantastic stream. It was really cool seeing you get your title just thrown together and working like that. And you were like, I wasn't expecting that to go that fast. But yeah, hello, Balint Science Streams, another fantastic streamer. He is very high energy. If you guys enjoy science, if you enjoy learning things, or if you just enjoy hanging out with a fantastic community, also check out Science Streams. Hellraiser is here. If you enjoy the games, the fun, definitely check out Hellraiser. Do this a lot. No. Too much coffee. Okay, anyway, you know that there's never any requirement for you to stick around for any specific amount of time. This is a place where you can come hang out if you feel like it. Hang out, have the vibes, enjoy the vibes, and yeah, be who you are as you are. Come as you are. Okay, so here's what I need to do with the dismiss wrapper. I would like for you. Hard to find clips without the baby when over half of the streams is Bit Baby. True. So true. Oh man. Nice. Tab to flush. Oh man. What a wonderfulness. What a good day. We have been having fun with, oh yeah, I guess if any of you are interested in knowing what the app is that we're working on, it is the financial management tracker, where currently I'm using an Access database application thing. I don't think I have a screenshot of it anymore, but I used to have a screenshot of the application. Screenshots. No, I don't have a screenshot of what I currently use to track my finances is I manually throw my hands at the keyboard with access open, and then suddenly I have records being created because I like to manually input my own spending and such. What happens if I just change the index to 0? No. Okay. Then card. Is the index 1? No. That's getting overwritten by something. Or just not applied. Sorry. Thank you so much for the follow, Chapelin. Wait, what? You've subscribed. Thank you for the subscription. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. I was like, didn't you already follow? Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I like to manually track my finances, put in all of my receipts, put in all of my paychecks, all of my auto debits, auto credits, whatever it's called, auto withdrawals, auto payments for my stuff into this manually tracked thing, which is currently in Access. And I have for a long time been using that since like 2013, 2014. And I was like thinking over the years, I'm a .NET developer. This app would be perfect for making into a web app or something that is more intuitive or easy to use and maintain on top of that. But I never did it. The closest I got was moving from using the built-in database to moving all of my data into SQL Server. And yeah. So now I'm using Access with the SQL Server backend. And I'm like, since all of my data is already in SQL Server, the next logical step is to just go ahead and use my .NET skills to make it into a web app. And the reason that we're doing this as the stream project instead of what I used to do, which is streaming my actual day job, is because I got a new job since then and I'm not able to stream my current work. But typically you would have seen me streaming my day job, the actual work that I did. But anyway, Chapelin says, your interest in AR and your explanations are great. Also, I just see you being nice to others. I think it's most deserved. Well, I appreciate that. I think it's easier to be nice to people than rude for me. Except for Thindle. I'm kidding. Your day job, doing what I do. Exactly. Modernizing web apps. Oh my gosh, I love watching you doing it though. Yeah, Napalm is definitely going to be has been talking about streaming, so I'm looking forward to that too. I will be there. And Square. I can be both. But okay, I think maybe the way that I'm going to fix this, now that I think of it, but I want to be able to select the value as well, is I'm just going to move this to the top. So I'm going to switch the position of the display output and the numbers. And that's going to be, there are two really easy ways to do this. Number one is, I believe that I told the CSS for the calculator, where is the calculator, by the way? Up here. To be display grid, but that's the buttons themselves. Okay. So maybe card text will be display flex direction column. Oh my goodness. And have a gap of 0.4 rems, just because that's what I always fall back to. And then in the UI, we will just move the label up here, which shouldn't be a label. The reason that this shouldn't be a label is because it's not associated with a control. So this should either be a span or a div kind of thing. Okay. But yeah, Thindle is here. I didn't actually say hello to you, Thindle. Thindle is another fantastic streamer. If you guys enjoy watching .NET, especially projects that involve modernizing legacy applications, going from .NET Framework, .NET Core, and beyond, then check out Thindle. Such good times. I was there yesterday, and then I had call after call with my day job, but I'm almost always streaming. Lurking. I'm almost always streaming. You should check it out. No, I'm almost always lurking, and definitely lurking in all of my favorite streamers. Like even, I was gonna say even Balint, but especially Balint. I'm lurking in your channel all the time. It's just that you happen to stream a lot later in the day than where I am. So yeah, um, hopefully she won't quit soon. You're gonna have to keep streaming until I'm done, Mila, because we're gonna raid you. I already know who I'm gonna raid, provided she continues streaming this whole time. But we're still a good hour away from ending the stream, because we got some more fun stuff to do. So let's finish up this calculator. Calculator. Hard for me to say. So hard for me to say. Yeah, Bindle says, don't lower your resolution, but can wait, what? No, up here. Okay. I forgot to show you those settings. Dang it. Bindle was talking to Napalm. Would love to see you online. I hope what I do in general makes sense. It does, and that sounds like Apocalypse is here. Oh my gosh, hello Apocalypse. How are you doing on this fantastic Wednesday? But yes, what you do and talk about does make sense to me, and your babbling is just fine as well. It's still a good time. So Napalm said, I shouldn't have lowered my resolution for streaming, should I? I'm concerned my massive monitor might make things challenging. Possibly. So like what he's talking about, Thindle, is his like if you're in Visual Studio, it's kind of difficult to change the size of your tool windows. So if you're streaming at, let's say, 4K, then you can easily change your editor, but a lot of stuff is going to look like this by default. So your output window down here is going to be this size, unless you go into Visual Studio and make it bigger. And then your browser, your bookmarks up here, the title or the address bar, all of that stuff will be very, very tiny, even though you can change the size of the web content, of the browser content. Yeah, display scaling is another thing that you could do, but that also comes with its own issues, where not everything responds to the scaling appropriately. So yes, potentially. Now, if you're talking about the quality for your stream, then that one, it's up to your internet connection. So for me, I am streaming at 1080p, and I am using 6,000 baud, and that seems to work fine for my internet connection. As far as having very low latency, as far as the video quality being okay. Now, it's still possible that Twitch will only allow people to watch your stream at 720, because they reserve the right to on who gets to stream at 1080 or have 1080 available on their platform. So yeah, is there anything else? Back to the video tab. 160p. Yes. Oh, I've experienced it, Thindle. That's why I said it. Where the only video options were 480 and 720 for a lot of my streams for a long time. And I think it might have been before I went affiliate. And output. Output. No, completely okay. I have no problem reopening Windows, showing stuff. Shepelin says, I don't stream, but on work meetings, sharing 4K resolutions is hard to see for others. I assume here is similar. Yeah, you could change resolution or maybe share only one window instead of the big full screen. True. So for me, I have another display device that is a, what are you, 32-inch TV essentially? 32-inch 4K resolution TV that I use as a monitor that's essentially four 4K or four 1080 displays is how you can kind of think about it if you just put one in each corner, one window in each corner. Anyway, so I usually have that, and the only one that you guys see is this one that is 1080. Cool. And let me know if there are other settings because there are things to know, like just how exactly to output your audio stuff, especially if you're going to record while you stream. So if you're not going to create VODs directly in Twitch, which I don't think you can do unless you are affiliate, I don't remember. So you might end up recording while you stream so that you could upload it later to something like YouTube's or other service channel thing. And you'll also want to make sure that the audio track that you have set for your recordings is something that has all of the audio channels that you want. Not audio channels, audio sources that you want. And again, the audio sources, you tell it which tracks you want it to output to. So if I made my recording track 3, then it would have everything including my music. And I'm going to have to replace soundtrack by next week. So if anyone does have any, what are they called? DMCA free Spotify playlists that they want to recommend that are along the lines of what we are currently listening to on my stream. I've tried Stream Beats and there are a lot of songs that I didn't like on the lo-fi and chiptunes. Navier says, hello there, is this a Blazor stream? Absolutely is. And the project that we are doing is this financial management tracker application. And I tried to show a lot of the principles of what I would normally do as my day job. So I used to work for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, where I managed the conversion of, I keep forgetting the numbers, 7 to 9 web applications from JSP to some Microsoft technology. And so I chose MVC at the time using .NET Framework because I think .NET Core 2.1 was out, but I had not used it yet. So I used what I was familiar with, especially since I needed to get a lot of work done within 1 year. So I used .NET Framework MVC project type, Entity Framework 6, which is .NET Framework Entity Framework. And then, and that was database first too. It was a lot of fun. And I don't think WOHO is an acronym. I just didn't know how to pronounce it. So I'm thinking WOHO? WOHO? I don't know. Um, so then after I got all of the web apps converted, there were 3 desktop apps that were written in VB6 that needed to be converted to VB.NET. So, or yeah, VB.NET. So I converted them from VB6 to WinForms using .NET framework. And then Blazor came out. Just as I was finishing the last desktop conversion, .NET 6 came out. Not .NET 6 came out. Blazor came out with .NET 3.0. And so I was like, I want to use Blazor. And I want to move these desktop apps to Blazor. And I want to move all of my MVC applications to Blazor. And I did. And so I did all of this while streaming. Currently learning Blazor for that reason. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, I was doing all of this and I was able to stream. Oh, and there was another follow. Adelmite. Adelmite. Thank you so much for the follow. So yeah, so I was doing that for my stream. I was able to like do these conversions. Thank you. Thank you, Navir. And it was a lot of fun. And we had fun together. And we struggled together. And then we kept having fun. And then struggled some more. But it was good times. It was always good times. But then after I finished the majority, like almost all of the conversions, I was starting to get to a point where that position was no longer helping me grow. And the payoff, the trade-off is what I mean to say, was not worth the what I was putting into it. So I looked for another job. I got another job, and that job is for a consulting company. And now that I'm mentioning them, just so you know, any views and opinions that I express on my stream are my own and not necessarily the views and opinions of Sajetti, which is the company that I'm working for. So anyway, we have clients, and I can't talk about the clients, can't talk about the specifics of the project itself. Did you know, Thindle, that Sajetti Sweden just got Best Employer of the Year? Is that what they were called? Best Place to Work? Do. Anyway, they got some award in Sweden. And I'm pretty sure it was Best Place to Work. Did not know that. From what my friends who work there are saying, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So Sajetti US is slightly different. Sajetti US has more of a corporate feel. So read into that if you want. Uh, but anyway, point is, I can't stream my work, so I still wanted to stream Blazor, and I wanted to stream a for real project, so I created this open source project, which, by the way, if you want to see it, you can head over to the GitHub page for it, which I think Dukasoft has already posted like multiple times, but just in case. It's open source. I want it to be for learning, for everyone to have fun with, for whatever. Examples of how I do things, which are not necessarily the right way to do things, but they are how I do them. And I didn't miss the question, by the way, Hellraiser. I will definitely answer. So yeah, what am I trying to say? Oh, this entire project, I wanted to make sure that I still did it like it was a real project. So coming up with the decision on what the project is going to be, designing what the architecture is going to be, what technologies we're going to use, designing the database, sketching out some of the UI. Maybe we can get into Figma today and you can actually see some of the UI sketches on Figma. Hey, it worked. Excuse me. So this is where we came up with what the UI could look like. As you can see, we stuck mostly to this one. And it's pretty close to the same. But we are going to revamp this. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it much, much better than it currently is. But right now, really, really wanted to get the functionality done. And so right now we are close to the end of the project. I was working on this list management here to be able to change the values in these drop-down lists. And so we just finished with the edit. Add was working not too long ago, so the last one is delete. But I took an aside because we have a community member named Max. He is 14 or 15 now. He was learning JavaScript and made this calculator in JavaScript using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, not like any JavaScript frameworks or anything. And I was like, we need a calculator in our app, so let's explore it. Let's see what a calculator would look like in Blazor. So I'm making this calculator component that I'm currently putting inside of a modal, which I am going to just add a quick button as well to make it easier to show. So in my top bar is where I'm going to put it. Yeah, works for me. Oh, right. But first, I wanted to answer Hellraiser's question. And also, I can't test watching myself. You can if you watch yourself on another device. Or, yeah, on the same device. But anyway, hope to switch over to Blazorification soon. Payment system is the last huge part that needs converting. Awesome, Thindle. Looking forward to watching you play with Blazor too. Hellraiser was asking, how does Blazor compare to Maui, or is Maui something that can integrate Blazor apps into it? Okay, so Maui is an overall project type that allows you to write one code base for all of your functionality, and have your XAML UI present native controls. So the original intent for Maui was to essentially replace Xamarin, but also include Windows and Mac native applications. So, and Tizen, which is something like Samsung's tvOS. I think. I can't remember. But the point of it was you're still making a WPF application essentially with XAML for your UI, except that we now have this thing called Blazor Hybrid, which is a Maui type project as well, where instead of using XAML for your UI, you're using Blazor in a Blazor WebView control. So the way that Blazor fits into Maui is it is a presentation layer that you can use for doing your UI. So you can write your UI in Blazor and not only have that same UI in cross-platform in Android, iOS, Mac, Windows, Tizen, but you can also have that same UI in your web application. And that's exactly what I did here. So I have a Maui project that if I built it and ran it, you would see it working in my Android emulator. I don't have an iOS emulator or a Mac at all, so I can't develop on iOS or Mac, as well as a desktop application. I could run it that way too. And in fact, I think I should be able to do that now. I think I have it set to running as desktop. But what you're going to see is that the UI for the application is the same, even though when I'm in Maui, I have access to native system stuff. So I can access the file system directly from my Blazor code if I wanted to. I wouldn't. I would have an external service that does it, but if I wanted to, I could. I could access the Android camera. I could access other system resources specifically. Yeah, Twitch creator dashboard. I'll show you my dashboard shortly too. So anyway, that's the Maui project. I also have a WPF project that is specifically a Windows native desktop application, but that one is also using a Blazor WebView control with the exact same UI. I also have a Blazor server version of the app, which is using the exact same UI. So I have one UI project for all of my Blazor content and 4 or 5, I don't know how many different types of projects targeting and using the same UI. So this looks exactly the same as it does in the browser. And it's using, again, the same UI, the same services, because I have another library that handles all of my services. So if you're running as a desktop app or an Android app or a Blazor WebAssembly application, then it uses a service implementation that has a HTTP client that makes requests to an API backend. And if you're using a server technology like ASP.NET Razor Pages or the Blazor server, whatever it's called, project type, then it just accesses a service that runs on the server. Same as the API. It uses the same service that has implementations for being able to run directly on a server. So there you go. There you go. Awesome. Don't cry, Apocalypse. Okay, so anyway, you can see that it's the same app. It's if I make a change here instead of savings, it's just going to be, well, you're not going to be able to see that anywhere. So never mind that one. Let's stick with deposit reasons. If I make a change to this deposit reason, you'll see an update down here. If I have this open, you will see this one update as well. And it works exactly the same way that it does in the web application. Awesome. And it's good to see it work instead of bork out on me. like it likes to do on occasion. So anyway, desktop app using the same UI. Magic. Okay, let me catch up on chat. Good question though. If you want to discuss it more, the solicitation on Fridays, I have community day on this channel, which means that I open the Discord voice channel so that if you feel like using your voice to converse with me, you can just hop into Discord and I will pull you into a voice channel where we can just talk about whatever topics you want, this being one of them. I prefer talking about technology topics, especially surrounding .NET, or maybe just overall approaches and best practices, things that you've encountered as a developer or as a new developer even while you're learning development. I love talking about those types of things. Not too long ago, GoodVJ had moved to the US for the first time. So hearing about his experiences in the US, going to a university or a university for his master's degree, I think it was, is really interesting to me. So yeah, any kinds of topics like that. I am very, very, those are appropriate for community day. Okay, catching up on chat. Can I have a C# question that makes me crazy as a PHP developer? Have a C# question? What do you mean by have a? I'm trying to override property from a child class. I have public virtual int ammo get set. And I want to override with public override, but it's not working though. All right, so this is a fun one. People are already telling you that you can't override properties. Just inherit the property and play with it. However, However, who do we want to use? Are any of you guys abstract classes? Data entry models. I like using interfaces more often than I like using abstract classes. So it's going to be hard for me to find an existing abstract class. So I think we're just going to have to create one. Oh, response model. Response model base is not an abstract class. Base notify property changes. Okay, so here we have an abstract class called base notify property change. You don't have to have an abstract class in order to use the virtual keyword. That's an abstract question. Some prop to be overridden. And then you just have it as an auto property. Oops, probably would like a type on it, huh? So who is inheriting you? UI state, for example. This one, please. Okay, so in UI state, you're saying that you are, or in your implementing class or your inheriting class, you're trying to override int some prop to be overridden. And it's saying you can't do this because I think you can, for one. It's not complaining at me. So what exactly is happening to yours when you try? Same field name is serialized multiple times in the class or its parent class. Oh, mono behavior. Okay, so I am using .NET Core, .NET 7. Can you do the same for some? Hello, Senior Irish John Games. The answer is 12. If you guys don't know Irish John Games, I'm sure all of you do. He is a fantastic Unity developer. He's working on a game called Rise of Piracy. Check it out on Steam. It's a fantastic. Oh, Dukasoft beat me to it. You're amazing. You're so cool. So yeah, I wasn't expecting this to actually work, but something that might work in mono behavior, because I think this existed in .NET Framework, is using the new keyword. So what new does is it hides the original definition. So even if I didn't have virtual on here, if I use new and then I call this specific instance dot some property, I would get this property, whatever definition of this property is. Like I could even change that this some prop to be overridden is get only. And it's not going to complain at me for that. So I'm pretty sure you can use that in the .NET that's used with Unity. Yeah, it will only be called from outside the class. So I didn't know that. Thank you, Thindle. Thindle is explaining that a function marked as new will only be called from outside of the class. So if you are inside of here and you're trying to access some prop to be overridden, then you are going to actually be accessing this some prop to be overridden. And then if it's virtual, that's when you are actually replacing it. But if you are outside of this class and you're calling UI state.someprop to be overridden, then you will get this one back. So maybe that'll help. And of course, the way around that for a property is just to have a backing field. And that way you are only ever manipulating the backing field inside of the class. And then if you're accessing it from outside of the class, veil, then you can still set that backing variable. So those are probably some techniques that you can use to get it to work. Now, the real question is, why are you needing to override a property? If you are, you're trying it with new and it's still giving you the same thing. Yeah, I don't know enough about the difference between C# and mono. Yeah, that's a tough one. So from that point, I honestly don't know a better approach for overriding a base class's property. Those were my two best guesses. Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely plenty of other approaches that you could use where you have a virtual method for accessing whatever that field is, and then you can override the virtual method. But that's surprising though. Avoid inheritance anyway, if you can, and then move the get set behavior to functions. Yeah. I will say, yeah, just move all the logic out of the getter or setter. Yeah. So live coding agrees with that. And hello, Peter. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. We were playing with the calculator here in this app. And I was going to, in the top bar, put the calculator itself and a button, private int, no, private bool, show calc, show calc, show bind show is going to be show calc, and we're going to have a button. It's just going to be a lame old button. No classes. I don't know why I'm trying to put a class on it. This is temporary. Button. Do I have a calculator icon? So one thing that I have been doing lately because I'm so lazy is going to iconify, finding an icon or something like a calculator, grabbing that icon and grabbing the SVG. What size do I want this thing? 24 by 24 is good. I like 24 by 24. And then just using that as my icon, because lazy. Oh my gosh, so lazy. Can you take me to the end? Thank you. All right, so that is all just one line. Okay. I don't know why this thing is having so much trouble though. It's not rendering the colors correctly. So since I have this, I am going to use a parameter, public bool show. And because I want this to enable two-way binding, I will have a param. I'm missing chat, by the way. Sorry. I will catch up on chat very shortly. Oh no! And it looks like Mila stopped streaming. I was gonna raid her. All right, so this sets up two-way binding. The way to set up two-way binding is just to create another parameter that is an event callback of the type of the parameter and just call it whatever that parameter name is changed. And that does two-way binding, like a magic. So one thing that I want to make sure happens is when I dismiss the dialog, which it's not colorizing for me. You know what? Let's just close and reopen real quick, because I really would like my IntelliSense and my coloring and my suggestion list and everything to work while I'm waiting for it to close and reopen. Irish John Game says, I've been lurking for a few hours, but super busy. Noticed your bot shouting out Rise of Piracy every half hour or so. You're too kind. Yeah, it was easy to set up, and it's definitely a game worth shouting out. So even if any of you are not really into strategy games and this style, I still would strongly recommend you wishlist it, get the visibility out there, get more people to see it. But I'm sure you'd want to at least try the game if you saw it. That sounded important, but it wasn't. Okay. So there was many chat. Thindle said, I run two things on my secondary screen with regards to the OBS conversation. I have OBS itself, so I can see the, yeah. So on my second screen, I have OBS as well. And I have Twitch Creator. I have that on my mobile studio down here so that I can push buttons, but I don't really use it for anything other than seeing activity. So when people follow, it's like I can see who followed because otherwise the screen is really tiny for me to be able to see it. You there. Water management. Water management. Financial management, dude. Try again. Just Hera Maui Hybrid is what I'll be using to appify the admin interface. Yeah, that's cool. That's definitely cool. We'll use methods. It's in Unity. Can you do the same? Irish John can do the same. Like a math. The difference is that a function marked as new, right? I remember reading that. If it's virtual to be replaced, I'm trying with new, same issue. Then Peter said some stuff. And then Navir says, are you using any component library, by the way? Good question. So when Blazor was first coming out is when I started using it. Whoa, why am I so laggy suddenly? Moment. I think opening two Visual Studios at the same time is breaking it. Oh my gosh. Are we good? Are we good? I think we're good. Close water management. Voice isn't like it though. That's good. All right. Hopefully the video is back. I stressed my CPU a little bit there. So on the same GitHub as the financial management project is my, I guess the really quick story is that when I was first using Blazor, it was in its infancy, just coming out for us. And I was struggling to really comprehend components because I hadn't done anything like React before or Angular. And if I did, then it would have been a lot easier, I think, because the concepts seem pretty similar. But when I started putting things together, I really wanted to learn how to use components, how to make components and stuff. Because that was the most interesting part of it. How do I make a reusable piece of HTML that I can plug into anywhere that I wanted? So I started getting in the habit of creating my own components. And in the middle of doing that, I also looked at things like Radzin, blazor.radzin.com, because these guys had a Blazor GUI WYSIWYG. And so I tried using that to maybe get a feel for how these more complex components were being made. Then I looked at DevExpress to use their free components just to have an idea of what types of components. I also tried Sync Fusion stuff. So I looked at a whole bunch of them, Mud Blazor, Amp Blazor, anyway, a whole number of components. And then I was like, all right, so now that I'm familiar with using components, can I just use component libraries? Because, I'm fairly comfortable with making my own if I need to. So I started using other component libraries, and then I quickly found myself like stuck. I'm like, I want it to do this specific thing. I want to be able to have this specific thing happen when I am using that component. And it was really hard to target styles at the time. Again, this was still pretty early on. So it's kind of analogous to using Bootstrap as your primary CSS and then trying to customize it, where you have to fight with it sometimes because they do use a lot of bang importance in a lot of places. Um, so yeah, it felt like that. And I just got frustrated with it. So then I decided, you know what? I'm just going to keep making my own components. So in the one line GitHub, these are the components that I've come up with. It's not a great library by any stretch of the imagination, but it does have things that were specific to my needs. So all of my cards are done in a specific way. This card component actually was by following a DevExpress tutorial. It was one of the first components that I made. But one of the first components that I made by myself without using any tutorials was this drag and drop component, which is, it has a lot of features. How do you do this? You go to, yeah, that. So the drag and drop component has things where you can reorder a list by dragging it around, dropping it, and then you can rename. Oh, that was interesting. So the double click actually started the rename. Interesting. Oh my gosh, it's broken. Anyway, you can rename items. So this can display complex items. You just tell it how to display it. Then I needed this for creating a query builder. So to do that, it got really, really messy. But that component, at least the example of it, has just all of the things. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to describe this, but you have nesting. You can reorder that. You can tell it whether you're trying to and or them. So now you have groups of SQL statements anded and ored together, and then this will generate the actual SQL statement itself. Yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun though. It was crazy. So you can see it generating the actual SQL output for the where clause from this drag and drop interface. So that was a lot of fun. So because I had so much fun with that, I was just like, I'm going to keep going and just create a whole bunch of different components. And so I did. And I kept going and I made more. And I made more. And I made more. Like carousels, like type ahead components. And yeah, so it's really just more for a learning experience. Yeah. Dugasoft says, I would love to make a WYSIWYG editor component. And Thindle says, take a look at Blazor blocks. Because that is one of the things that Thindle was working on as one of his Blazor learning projects, where he wanted the ability to have a WYSIWYG editor for pages and stuff. So that was really cool. And that's funny. And the community shout out that we just got is Eagle Hansen, who created BUnit. So if you are a component vendor or creating your own components or just using Blazor in general, then you can use this to unit test your Blazor components. It's called BUnit. It looks a lot like XUnit or NUnit. In fact, you can use XUnit or NUnit with it and have your unit tests for your functions, for your services, right next to your unit test for your components. It's really cool. Awesome stuff. It's not dead. I just got other things to do. But yeah, so that's my long-winded answer on do I use component libraries? So the short answer is no, I make my own components as needed. I try to reuse these, but because it's so much fun creating components and I want to see if I, now with my current knowledge, would I have done it any different? Then I sometimes just end up creating the components again. Like in this project, I decided to create all of the components from scratch again instead of using my current component library. And again, it was just a ton of fun. Good to hear. I don't like using third party anything, but everyone seems to be so in love with Mud Blazor and everything. Yeah, I honestly don't have enough experience with Mud Blazor to say that it's easier or harder to use than other component libraries I've used. I guess the one other thing that I have used are the built-in Blazor components that come with Blazor. But on top of that, like edit form and input number, input text area, etc. But one of the other ones is Fluent UI, which again is a .NET thing, but you still have to add Fluent UI to your project, which I think I have. Let's find out. Validation. No, I have not. Read Mud Blazor a bit. It's pretty nice, but again, kind of fighting against the controls and how someone else built them exactly. Seems more like a prototyping thing to use. Yeah, definitely. And that's the feel. It's like if you have something that is pretty standard, you don't need it to have any bells and whistles. You don't need it to stand out. Then use a component library because it's really, really fast to put things together. You want a card, you type card. You want a modal, you type modal. Yeah. Or a nav menu or whatever, a grid. So definitely there are definitely places to use. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of emails. Stop it. Jeez. There are definitely places where using a third-party component library is cheese. It's cheesing it. Okay, will we ever? Will I ever? Do I ever want to? Top bar, show calc. Yeah, why are you still not finding? Did I spell it wrong? Did I? Excuse me here, calculator. Do I need to using shared components? Did I put it in shared components? I did not. Blazor UI components, calculator components. Still no? Man, this thing is angry at me. Calculator components. Excuse me, can you go down here, please? Please. Okay. I have a parameter called show. I have the event callback of bool called show changed. Therefore, my show calc. Speaking of, do I have a code behind for you already? I do not. Okay. My show calc for calculator should be fine. What if I use the full namespace? Yeah. Why are you angry? Why is this thing so angry? Okay. Napalm Codes is your new handle. Awesome. It showed up on my screen. Yeah. Everyone else says they see it. I'm trying Telerik and Mud Blazor at the moment, and I keep looking back at doing it native. Blazers are always angry. True. Dukasoft said the problem with third party for me is they usually bring in 5,000 other things that I don't really need. True. And I modularized mine so that you can just reference the dockable toolbar by itself. Each of these creates their own NuGet package, or you can do the full Blazor library and get all of them. Because lazy. I want it to be two-way bound, and that's why I have at bind show. So if the value of show changes within the component, then I want it to change the value of the variable here as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's fine. If I build, it's going to be successful. If I build, then it's going to break. Oh my gosh. Spindle source gen stuff could not be found. Now that's a lie. Okay, let's get rid of this for now. Yeah, so it's not even seeing this component. Okay. KC, let's try fixing the source generator thing. Yeah, Thindle source gen cannot be found. Quick question: when you can, how do you have tabs on the left like that? So this was one of my favorite things that came out with Visual Studio 2019. But if you click on the little sprocket, so let's say that you have horizontal tabs. If you click on the sprocket, then you can change it to be on the left or on the right. And when it's on the left and the right, then you can also group by project. You can also colorize the tabs. You can customize the colorizations of your tabs somehow. Oh, right, regular expression, right. And then you customize the regular expression for what gets colored what. Oh, no, please. No need to get down on yourself about not seeing that. If you don't really know about it, probably won't look for it. Kind of like I didn't know about the, what is this called? Navigation tree, I think, for a while. I'm still debating whether I like it or not. I've used it for so long now that I kind of just don't notice it. The thing I like the most about it is being able to see the blocks of code kind of represented and seeing the parts of the code that have the issues. But yeah, what happened suddenly to our source generator that is causing issues? Why are you suddenly angry? Do I have the app running somewhere? Night. I got a PR. Um, no. So the app isn't running anywhere. It breaks no docs. Yeah. So like if you mouse over, I remember seeing that. If you mouse over the section and no docs is on, you can see that you can still see the content, the values themselves. Okay, for now, I'm gonna ignore the source gen. We will finish that one day, Endel. Promise. But right now it's causing build errors. So I'm getting rid of that. Okay, with that in mind, maybe now my top bar will know about the calculator. Still no? What? Whatever. App bind show. Yeah, no, it's not finding it. Calculator, are you still broken? Is it because you're not building? You have errors. So many errors. Oh, it's down here. Duh. Okay, remove. Yeah, this doesn't have any errors in calculator. So show changed, handle show changed. Sumimasen. I'll put that up here first. Private task handle show change. Excuse me. Bool new show. If show equals new show, do nothing. Otherwise, set show equal to new show. Check if show changed has delegate, then invoke it. Otherwise, return task, completed task. Microsoft banned himself. No! How dare you ban my favorite bot? Did I mention I've got tons of balls in the air right now? I have one. Now it's on the ground. Also not sure if that's a saying in English. It is. I mean, it's plate spinning, but whatever. Balls in the air, same thing. You're juggling. You have balls in the air. Trying not to drop them. Wait, Dukasoft is a bot? Damn, had me fooled. Best bot ever. I don't even remember what my command is for best non-bot bot. But yes, you did mention, and you are going to have a busy rest of your week. Just, oh, well, that's what you put in your bot. Like a magic. Okay, so that. Something is wrong. Oh, you know what? You know what? This happens on occasion. And if it does happen, oh, it's probably when I removed the file from CS Proj. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rename you to Oj. I'm gonna keep you guys named Calculator. And we're going to re-add calculator razor.cs. Okay, and you are going to be a public partial class. Save, grab the content, pasta the content, grab the content. I don't remember where I started copying from. Pasta the content. Okay, and finally, deleted. Compile the SAS again. Okay, what do you say now? You're still angry. Can't convert from method group to. Why not? So show changed is an event callback of bool. I'm giving you a method that takes a bool parameter. Whatever. We'll just do it this way. Oh, just. What? Why don't you like this? Because it's not a delegate type. Calcu now or calculator? Later. Definitely later. There's always time for dinner. What? I'm so confused. No. No time. Stop. Find all. Find all. So here's an example of the same pattern. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Where is that templated, excuse me, control comma, templated modal? Hello? That's weird. Why aren't you in the code behind file? Why did you create a new code behind file? Oh my goodness, you're being so weird. Okay. Instead of a nullable event callback, oops, let's use a non-nullable because event callbacks are structs, man. Okay, that should fix this issue. And that should also mean that we can do you the normal way. Hey, and look at this, we even have syntax highlighting and everything. So in top bar, now that we can not build, oh, when did I do this? Because that, why would I ever? What is wrong with this kid? Okay, build succeeded. Top bar, do you know what a calculator is yet? You do. All right, and do you know what at bind show is? Thank goodness. Holy moly. Oh, okay. So real quick then, the buttons on click will be just to throw it in here really fast, show calc equals true. The end. When we click this, we should now see the calculator show up on the screen. Let's verify that. All right, Napalm, I will catch you when you start streaming. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be good times. Speaking of when you start streaming, I should also have Twitch open so that I can see who is actively streaming so that we can jump over to their stream when I am ready to quit. And I'm not ready, but I do need to get back to work. But we're gonna see this work. Did you just answer your own question by telling Dickasoft? That was really confusing. You asked you it seems like you asked Napalm when will you start streaming, and then you told Dickasoft tomorrow, I think probably. Okay. Anyway, that was weird. I was confused. Okay, so here is the financial management tracker with our top bar now having the calculator button. We push the calculator button, the calculator modal pops up. We close the calculator modal, and just to make sure that the state has been preserved, I am having the UI re-render so that we know that the show variable has been updated to false and it's not re-rendering showing the calculator. So we have a way to pull up a calculator on screen. What I'm most likely going to do is find a way to make this calculator drag and droppable so you can move it around the screen wherever you want. And then as you are clicking the numbers or using your number pad, you can do your calculations. I'm going to have support for grouping with parentheses. I'm going to have support for plus sign, minus sign, divided by, times, caret for exponents, e for times 10 to the negative blah, or times 10 to the blah. That kind of stuff. Okay. Don't worry, I sometimes answer numbers with colors. Truth. Dickersoft said I was streaming. Did you? Oh, you did. I totally missed that. He did ask if you were streaming. Blue? All right. Anyway, so that's going to be it for my time though, because I need to get back to work. But that was pretty cool. We got UI done for the calculator. When we come back on Friday, it's going to be community day, so I probably won't get much done with the application, with the project, but we only have one thing left to do. And that one thing left is to implement the delete, which again, I think the logic we're going to use, which should already be implemented, we just need to hook up the button, is if the item that you're trying to delete, the lookup item that you're trying to delete, doesn't have any associated transaction records or any other records, then we will go ahead and delete it, like actually remove it from the database. Otherwise, we will mark it as deleted, remove it from the display in this list, and therefore, if you create a new item with the same name, we'll just undelete it. And that way we can still access all of the lookups for those items so that they display correctly in our transaction history. Makes sense? Makes sense to me too. All right. But that's going to be it for my day. Do you guys have any recommendations for who to raid? Because I am open to just about anyone. My normal .NET developers are not streaming currently, which are often Unity developers, game devs that I typically watch. So the people that I currently have that are active are ITC Studios. And I haven't rated her yet, where she's doing some more pixel art stuff, which is really cool looking stuff, by the way. White Panther, but she's a JavaScript developer, I think. Bald Bearded Builder, also a JavaScript developer. Proton Fig, who's doing music, typically. Actually developing a map editor for Commodore 64. Omni Digital, who is often also doing pixel art dev for his game. Who is Thug Shells? Code Warrior seems to be doing some Blazor. Switch CV Code Warrior. Is Code Warrior someone that I'm going to have to follow because I love Blazor? That does not look like Blazor. That looks like PowerShell. Kidding. Kidding. Blazor hosted app in Docker. You actually is doing a MIDI. Oh wait, that's Proton Fig. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Thug Shells is a rapper, a terribly, really awesome, talented rapper. Okay. I would prefer to raid a developer, so we will raid Code Warrior. And now I have a commercial. That's crazy. Did you know that commercials do this? Like radio station commercials, so that I think you can still hear the person talking, but you can also hear the ad. This is the first time I've seen this. Are you tired of the irritation you get down there? This so sounds like you don't know Jack commercials. Oh, you couldn't see the screen. Hold on, let me show this because this is brand new to me. Oops. So here's the ad in the top left corner of the stream, and it's playing like a radio ad. Like I've seen the ones where the ad banner shows up down here, or the ad takes over the screen and the stream is in the top corner, but I've never seen this one. I'm gonna wait for my ad to finish. It's only on 3 of 6. Good grief. Well, I'm gonna start the raid now. But yeah, again, if you feel like it, feel free to join us on Friday for Community Day, where we will chat using voice. I'll focus predominantly on the community, but if people don't decide to start chatting, then we'll just keep working on the project some more. It'll be fun. It'll be good times. These commercials are really distracting though, and I have them loud so that I can hear Code Warrior by the time we get into his channel. Other than that, you're also welcome to join our Discord. Don't have to. It is just another place where extremely cool people hang out and talk Blazor.net, even JavaScript on occasion, PHP, and other technologies. And I will be posting a recording of this video to YouTube no sooner than 24 hours after I end the stream. So if you're interested in seeing our past recordings of this project, feel free to hop over to my YouTube channel at 11DLion. And yeah, that's it for me for now. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao. I'll do my best.